Greetings! Continuing along our holy quest to figure out everything that Chris Cornell ever had anything to do with today. It's nothing left to say but goodbye. This is a weird one. This video is for Mr. Freddie Squire and of course for you. Thank you for joining me. But before we get going, I do have one thing left to say, and that is thank you to the following people for signing up for the Patreon supporter of the Cause Club. Their names are Wesley White, Michael O, and Craig Erskine. Thank you very, very, very much for your support. And if you would like to find out what that's all about, the link, of course, is in the description. Step 1. Your guitar goes into drop D, so your low E string becomes a lower D string. In playing this verse, I have a feeling you're going to do a few things you've never done before, and you have my permission to never tell your family about it. The first shape is going to be D4, G5, B3, which may feel unfamiliar, but it's a D minor shape, however on the wrong string, so it's something else entirely. Our plucking pattern for all of these is going to be low, middle, high, middle. In this case, the strings D, G, B, G. Followed by D7, G2, B1, E2, and this is actually D7, but we're not going to play the open D string, so our plucking is G, B, E, B. Then it's D3, G1, B3, at which point you're going to slide heroically up on the G string to the 7th fret and make another little D7 shape, so 7, 6, 7, 8, 7. Your pinky finger, and now we have for your verse. And I want to point out that some of these shapes are tricky, if not impossible, to land as just like a, so I don't try to do that, rather I just spider finger it so it lands on the string when it needs to be there. That brings us to the chorus, and here Tom Morello made some very interesting distinctions between things, you'll see, but the first line is very straightforward. It's just a B flat power chord. That's A1, D3, G3 for 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Followed by F, the power chord, and drop D, it's just 3, 3, 3 on the low strings, 1 measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then normally you don't kind of mix power chords and open chords, but next comes regular old familiar A7. So, B flat, F, A7 is your first line. There's a reason I'm breaking this up into lines. The first chord of the second line prompted me to bust out all the big guns. I didn't believe what I was hearing, so I separated the guitar track out of the rest of the song, and I heard what I thought I heard, and I'm glad I did, because there was more stuff down the line that I wouldn't have been able to find had I not done that, and that is this. And you can ignore this if you want. This is a little bit tricky, and just play a B flat power chord, but what happens is the whole B flat chord, A1, D3, G3, B3, plus the open E string, so you have to really work to kind of bend your ring finger backwards. We're going to call that B flat with a flat fifth. B flat, flat 5. The flat 5 is the thing that makes The Simpsons The Simpsons, but we're going to do our special B flat chord for 2 measures again. And then D minor, you play it here, doesn't matter. That's line 2. Line 3 is where things get really weird. I knew it was a G7 chord, but we're in drop D, so we can't play this G7 chord, in addition to the fact that that's not the 7 I heard, but that one was the 7th I heard, which means if we were going to do it on the low strings, it'd be 5, 5, 3, 4. That's not really a landable shape, so I kept listening, and I noticed that I heard this going on, plus an open E string, which can mean only one thing. It's It's going to be called G7/6, G7/6, and it's going to be D3, B3, and I'm using these fingers. I'm going to go on and off the G string 3rd fret with my pinky finger, so it's going to be like this. You're only going to strum 4 strings, the high ones. That's our special G7 chord. So we're going to do that for 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, followed by C sharp, just like the whole B flat. You can do the power chord if you want on the A string 4th fret. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is line 3, and then line 4 is going to be, thankfully, power chords F, F, E, F, A, A. And now let's go through the whole chorus, having said all that. B flat. That's awkward. B flat. B flat. F power chord, regular A7. Special B flat. D minor. Weird G7. On, off, on, C sharp. Power chords, F, F, E, F, is your chorus. The bridge is not so bad. It's going to be 2 measures of G power chord, 5th fret, followed by 1 measure of D minor and 1 measure of the F power chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second line is again 2 measures of the G power chord, 1 measure of B flat, the power chord this time, and then 8 beats of D minor, followed by 16 beats of A7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's your bridge. Except for 2 eensy-beensy little questions I have. The first one is the first appearance of G, the first 2 measures of the bridge. I actually hear, so awkward, I actually hear the high notes out of G in there. So, you know, is it low D5, A5, mute, leave the D string open because that's a note in your G chord, then G4, and then 3-3 on those? I think that's what it is. That's a lot, so I'm going to play the G power chord rather than that. And the other thing is in the F measure, the last measure of the first line, I heard the bass go just like when the guitar went previously. But it's almost like Tom Morello and the bassist didn't tell each other that that was going to happen because I don't think the guitar did it. So do it if you want, you know, crazy G here. 5-5, open, 4-3-3, 5, 6, 7, 8, D minor, and then bum, 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 if you want, or not. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for, the ending riff. This reminds me of boss scenes from Earthworm Jim, of course. It's going to be the low D string, 0, 2, 3 to A1, A open. Then it's the same thing, relatively speaking, but 5 frets higher. So 5, 7, 8, 6, 5. Then the A string's going to go 4, 2, 0, D7, 5, and then 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. 0, 2, 3, 1, 0, 5, 7, 8, 6, 5. Same string. 4, 2, 0, D string, 7, 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. And that's it. Which means we're done. Hey, thanks for being here. I hope that was fun and helpful. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time with more stuff. Goodbye.